Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader review, my unfair review after 1000 hours spent in the game. I wanna give you a review that you all deserve, a proper one. From a gamer, not a journalist, a gamer to gamers. This is the only game available during December of 2023 and during January of 2024, and thank God it's like that because the game is absolutely huge. Let's go.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.
From all cat comes a game in the world of Warhammer 40k, after one of the best CRPGs that Wrath of the Righteous is or was, a brand new title is here, and what a strong name it carries now, Warhammer 40k. I played every single 40k game that's worth mentioning, and Rogue Trader is by far head and shoulders above any other 40k in the existence of gaming. The only question is it better than Wrath of the Righteous? I got no delusions that Rogue Trader is a clear Game of the Year for 2023. The strongest part of Rogue Trader is immersion. This is one of the most immersive games ever created, not only in terms of CRPGs, but in all genres combined. I passed through early alpha, beta, pre-released version, released 100 guides and God knows how many walkthroughs, and at the end I finished with full vanilla version for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader with additional 200 videos coming out after this video. I got over 1000 hours in the game so far in all versions combined, and if you are about to check out the review from someone that knows the game in its very core, you're on the right spot. This review was made from the unfair perspective, the hardest difficulty available in the game, hence my fair review has become an unfair review. Now let's rate Rogue Trader properly as it deserves. The first section would be the story. Writing is straight amazing. Characters are memorable, story is unique as it gets on, and yes, there are multiple stories, choices and consequences and multiple endings in this game. Mature story, dark story of 40k. Story follows a rogue trader in the far reaches of Koronus Expanse, surrounded by Xenos, chaos, politics and intrigues. All companions are closely connected to the main plot as well. Everything that you can imagine from 40k is in the game. Eldari, Drukhari, Heretics, Chaos, Space Marines, Chaos Marines, Inquisition, Necrons, Tyranids, everything is there. Every single faction plays a part in the Rogue Trader's storyline, or better to say, in your storyline. Writing is just brutal. It's a dark game with very little comedy, and even when there is comedy, it's usually morbid, as it should be in the world of 40k. Relations, they're there, but they're trivial, and by no means they can impact the main story. This is the game about war, pain and suffering. Relations are there only if you, as the protagonist, trigger them. They are never forced upon you like in some other games. You will decide the fate of planets, galaxies and millions of lives along the way. A Rogue Trader story is all about you becoming the force to reckon with in the Koronus Expanse, where the entire story takes place. No matter if you decide to stick with Imperialis or go with full heretic run, you will have a very good time out of Rogue Trader. 10 out of 10 for the story. The next section would be game bugs and optimization. There are bugs. I haven't encountered a game-breaking bug, but still some you'll need to resolve by restarting the game or using 2 to 3 saves prior to the bug. And it will take a full year for this game to receive its Ultimate Edition, or better to say, the Emperor's Edition, that will be bug-free and perfect to play. Now, should you wait for that to happen? No. Play it right now. It's worth every minute and every single bug you'll encounter. positives, they just overwhelm negatives here. In return, it offers perfect optimization, smooth performance, and very fast loading screens. This might be the most stable game released from Owlcat yet in terms of performance. Responsive controls, an option to co-op if you desire to play in company, is also available for the very first time. And yes, this is the first time Owlcat made a co-op CRPG. I'm old school, I love playing my CRPGs alone, but I should mention how there is an option now. And yeah, game was made for PC as primary platform, but it will be available on all consoles as well. Gamepad controls are good for this one. If nothing else, the game is finished. It's a finished product minus bugs. 7 out of 10 for game bugs and optimization. Next section would be game time. Depends on the player, on the difficulty you're playing on the side content, or whether you're gonna listen and read to all conversations and lore. And there's a lot to listen and read to. For those that play for combat only, this is around 100 hours long game, give or take 20 hours more or less. For me, I already have over 1000 hours in the game. For those that will read all on unfair difficulty, this is easily a 200 plus to 250 hours long game. Bang for your buck with amazing replay value as well, and God knows how many upcoming patches, free and paid DLCs will be included along the way, and of course all of that will only prolong already huge game time. Another huge game from Owlcat, 10 out of 10 for the game time. Next section would be game difficulty. 6 difficulties to pick from, as well as custom difficulties so everyone can play. When it comes to challenge, AI, if you want a real deal, just play it on unfair. It is the hardest game in 2023 by far. The only question is it harder than Wrath of the Righteous? Right now, in this state, it's not. Wrath of the Righteous was straight insane on unfair. That doesn't mean that you can easily play Rogue Trader on unfair, far from it. You need knowledge, correct builds, preparations, and with additional patches, they're gonna nerf some OP builds, so the game's gonna be harder and harder as the time goes on. Or, I'm just way too good at what I do and I require unfair plus DLC for Rogue Trader. Now, jokes aside, it's a hard game if you want it to be. It can also be a walk in a park if you choose story mode. Everyone can play Rogue Trader, and that's the bottom line. 9 out of 10 for the game difficulty. Why 9 out of 10? Very simple, because I believe that you get the OP around 50% of the game where you can squash everything, so until I see those patches for the difficulty, it's gonna remain on 9. After that, I'll gladly give it 10 out of 10. Next section would be maps and graphics. Graphics, they're dark, gothic setting of 40k, game is true to the lore and visuals are true as well. Shooting animations, parry animations, burst, knockouts, spells, everything is more than fine for a CRPG. World map, or should I call it space map, of Koronus Expanse is huge. When I say huge, I mean humongous. Koronus Expanse is full to the brim with systems, stars, planets, ruined ships, and space stations to visit and explore. Map variety is also huge, from burning worlds, chaos influence maps, all the way to icy worlds and big humanity outposts with warp ambushes. Minimap is simplistic and clean, you will never get lost. Journal is gorgeous. UI is absolutely amazing, a bit complex for new players, but overall more than user-friendly for those that are ready to learn how to play this game. And if you are ready, you will find over 100 builds and guides on my channel for Rogue Trader now. Anyways, that would be 10 out of 10 for maps and graphics. The next section would be gameplay. I love innovation in this game. Plenty of people will connect Rogue Trader with XCOM likes, but this game is everything else but XCOM. Turn-based isometric CRPG with half cover and full cover mechanics during combat, that's what it is in short. Now, imagine a 10 times more complex version of Wasteland 3 with Wrath of the Righteous interface and leveling in 40k skin and atmosphere. That's what a Rogue Trader is. Now, aside from classic combat, where you can use hundreds of different actions, exploration is also a huge part of gameplay, as well as picking your choices in dialogues that will result in impactful consequences. It is by far one of the best turn-based games that I played in my life. A bit rough around the edges, but with plenty of upcoming patches and DLCs, it should be glorious by the end of 2024 with its Ultimate Emperor's Edition. I loved every minute of my 1000 1000 hours spent in the game so far, and I plan to play it even more during entire December and January. I will probably end my Rogue Trader with over 2000 hours in the game in total. I think I said enough there. And yeah, I forgot to mention that no new game or game worth playing is coming out during the entire December of 2023 and full month of January of 2024. You got all the time in the world to soak it up in Rogue Trader. 10 out of 10 for the gameplay. Next section would be leveling and itemization. I don't know from where to start. That's how big it is. 10 archetypes to pick, 67 origins and 67 homeworlds with addition of 5 psyker origins that will merge all together and combine into hundreds of different builds to play with. You'll level up non-stop. Above 50 levels are in this game, and every single level feels unique and important. Very unique and very important. Especially when you get to choose talents and active abilities for combat. Every stat matters, every item that you equip matters. You got wounds, injuries, traumas, deflection, parry, dodge, dodge reduction, resolve, characteristics and skills to pay attention to as well. Like that is not enough, you also have momentum and ultis, or should I say heroic acts as well, that can drastically change the combat flow. Like that is still not enough, you also have Chaos Veil if you decide to spam Psyker spells, and Chaos can easily breach and convert easy fights into living hell. And yes, there is more of course. You will decide the fate of planets, build colonies, upgrade colonies, trade like crazy, bunch of great items are in the game as well. Speaking about items, a lot of items have multi-usages with active and passive abilities during combat stems, bunch of different grenades, medkits, special abilities on weapons, etc. Everything is included here. And that's not it, of course, we got ship upgrades as well. You think we're done? Your flagship is your base, one of the bases to say, but I don't want to spoil anything further. I also forgot to mention how the big part of this game is also ship combat in space. I'm telling you, if I want to remember everything right now, and what I passed through Rogue Trader, I could not, that's how big the game is. It's insane how many options there are in this game, so don't expect a perfect version till 2024, the game is just huge. 10 out of 10 for leveling and itemization. Next section would be NPCs and enemies. Usually, when I play CRPGs, I always know what companions I like and what I dislike. I easily assemble a team, and I play. In case of Rogue Trader, I can't decide who I like more, and I wanna play with all of them, and there is only 5 spots. It's a torture, sweet torture, but still a torture. Companions are memorable, unique, worth of a 40k universe. I can say the same about other NPCs and enemies as well. All memorable, all important for the main plot. Enemy variety is also insane. The biggest enemy variety in a 40k game ever. You got rebels, cultists, mutants, different sorts of chaos, Drukhari, Eldari, Tyranids, Necrons, robots, and all of that is in a one game. It is the biggest 40k game ever, by far. It's absolutely insane. I can't even imagine with upcoming DLCs. AI is more than solid. They can one-shot, they can pick targets well, they can go into cover, they can also backpedal to a safer spot. 10 out of 10 for NPCs and enemies. The last section would be music and sound. Around 40% of the game is voice acted, and when there is voice acting, it's amazing. But most of the time, you will spend reading conversations. Music is out of this world, and at least 10 soundtracks in this game are pure masterpiece. Sound effects are ground solid as well. It's a feast for your ears, this game. Really a feast for your ears. 10 out of 10 for music and sound. Final verdict. We got 9 sections with 86 points, and that would be 9.5 out of 10 for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Once bugs are fixed with the upcoming DLCs, we are easily looking at close to 10 out of 10 game and one of the best CRPGs ever created. It is 100% the best Warhammer 40k game ever created, and it's say 100% Game of the Year for 2023 and the only proper and real CRPG since Threat of the Righteous. Now, what is the strongest part of the Rogue Trader? I believe it's immersion. Very few games are capable of producing so much immersion from start to finish, and not to mention 200 hours long games that are a rare breed with such crazy replay value like Rogue Trader. The game was so freaking brilliant that I took a blind eye on its bugs and wrong calculations from time to time in combat. I would never play a game for over 1,000 hours if it wasn't worth it, and Rogue Trader is really worth it. I would say wait for the patches and bug fixes to play the perfect version of the game, but in this case there are so many positives about the game that just overwhelm current bugs or some minor negatives like bad calculations from merging 50 talents to proc well in the mega late game. Rogue Trader is by far the absolute best game in 2023 without competition whatsoever. Everyone who disagrees with me is a heretic. Now, jokes aside, the Emperor protects, and enjoy your short life in Coronus Expanse, Rogue Trader.
Are you ready for Warhammer 40K Rogue Trader? Because I am. The Emperor protects.